In the middle of a conversation in a group chat, my friend asked me, which is the bigger song, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road or Fast Car? And I said, wait, this is a serious question. Because it was a serious question. I do not think there is a right answer to it, but this video is about Fast Car by Tracy Chapman. If you're not careful enough, Fast Car may sound like a guitar ballad, a love song about eloping with a lover. But if you feel the tenderness of her voice and the raw sincerity in her writing, you will find one of the greatest songs ever written about pursuing small pipe dreams despite coming from poverty. Each verse for Fast Car starts with, "You've got a fast car." And each time she discloses something new about the car and its journey. Before she even plucks her guitar strings, the song starts with a countdown, which serves as a prologue of a story that's about to unfold. From the very first verse, what becomes obvious is her desperation, her lack of self esteem, and confidence in how far she can go or is willing to go in her life by herself. She's starting from nothing and has nothing to prove. This could be a result of poverty she grew up in, which will later be touched upon on the verses, but she overcomes this repression with love. When she says, maybe we can make a deal, she's implying about falling in love, about making a new deal to start a new life together. So yes, her lover has a car which she can use to escape their harrowing circumstances, but figuratively, the fast car in the first verse is their love that they have found that allows them to pursue freedom together. Jumping to the third verse, she mentions the other thing she's trying to drive away from, her father, whom she takes care of. He symbolizes someone who did not dream big enough, probably labored most of his life, and has given up on things. He drinks, is abandoned by his wife, and needs care from a teen. He stands as a person who she could change into if she stays still and does not change her life. It is also through him she visits the idea of what it means to be living. There is a well known concept of a second death. The first is your actual death, and the second is where your name is uttered for the last time. But she talks about a third death, one that happens before you actually die, when you are dead in spirit, when you do not feel like you are living despite being alive. Her father's body is younger in appearance than it is in feel. He has died before his actual death. This is the death that she fears. This is the reason she looks onto the fast car, because when she says leave tonight or live and die this way, live and die there mean the same thing to her. The fast car here is not just a means to a new life, but a means to live full stop. In the second verse, the fast car is not just a car, but a plan to escape. The verse digs deeper into her psyche about feeling hopeless before meeting her lover. Now she suddenly found the ambition to save up for something, to take a leap of faith. But her leap of faith is barely a hop, because she just wants to go into the city that they drive into. I also want to cut to the second verse after the chorus right here. After they have left, and she still talks about her dream of finding a job and getting a promotion at the grocery store and being able to afford a house. In a pool of songs where artists brag about how far they've struggled and made it, you have a speaker who talks about getting a menial job and affording a house as a goal. And through this, we can assess that how much people are allowed to dream is tied to their birth and their socio-economic conditions. We dream of fame and money and love and power because that is what we're taught. That is what media pushes down our throat. But what happens when there is no social pursuit pushed down our throat and just ghastly poverty to rise out of, to the point that you cannot pursue basic education? How grounded is it to simply dream of escape from the circumstances you come from, of a broken family, of a suffocating hometown, of being able to love someone openly? I think beyond our united ambition for braggadocious things right now, this is what unites us as humans. And she taps into that. She talks about buying a house in the suburbs as her most aspirational thing. And I, as a listener, am humbled by that perception of life and her ability to find meaning and find love in it. the chorus constantly serves as this beautiful imagery of her and her lover pursuing their goals. Perhaps it was in one of these rides that she conjured the idea of building a life together, building a new future away from their past. For someone who up until now talks about being nothing, she finally feels like she could be someone, that she's not bound by life or by birth to follow the path she wants, because she's with this person and she paints the most beautiful, hopeful picture of the future, with the city in front of her, with the wind blowing, with a warm embrace. And then comes the fifth verse after the second chorus, which cuts further into the future once they've moved and settled with kids. But here things are not as expected. Maybe she has found a job that pays her bills and does things for her that she always hoped. The hopes that she had at the start turns into a past tense of hope. Hoped. I had hoped that things would get better. Despite her ambitions and her efforts, she's unable to break the cycle of her father and her mother. Much like her father who drank and stayed out, so does her partner. Unlike her mother, though, she does not have it in her to move further out. She does not have it in her to leave this life behind and start a new one. She has settled deep and has no plans of going anywhere. So she urges her partner to drive away. So suddenly, this same fast car that symbolized love and hope and future and family becomes about separation. And then, like a gut punch, she returns to the same image that she provided in the chorus before. She returns to this feeling of being hopeful of the future, of feeling like you had someone, and despite us knowing that it did not quite come to fruition in the same sense, because we have the idea of where she went in the future, she extends it by asking one more time if her lover and her should leave or live and die this way. We know they leave, and after a point, their life and death become the same, but it is the thrill of living, it is the foresight of having something on the horizon that makes life different from death. There is this rejoice that, yes, she burns out, but for a moment, she shines. And in that shine, this song that is so melancholic is also about hope. This complex story about optimism and despair came from a queer black folk musician who spoke of revolution with a soft voice as silk. Tracy, who is unlike any star by every metric. Like, amidst the glitz and glam, it is astonishing that this song and this album and this writer cemented herself in pop culture. Nothing like her had happened before, and nothing like her has happened since. Even the detail of her being queer adds so much to the complexity of the story and allows you to understand why she felt caged in her hometown, why she wanted to escape, and why for once, when she was in her lover's arms, she felt like she belonged. So even though she has written something generational that has been repeated multiple times with commercial success each time, nothing can quite capture the heart like Tracy herself. And who amongst us did not start with a pipe dream that slipped out of our hands, and we had to deal with what was left because that was life anyway? And that is a special layered feeling that Tracy is able to tap into, unlike anyone else, which I think, in my opinion, makes this easily a pop classic for me. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.